Today on the CTV News at 5, is there a suspect in the Boston bombings?
This is a very similar device to the IEDs that we have found throughout Afghanistan used to kill our soldiers.
Plus, how Southern Alberta runners are honoring the bombing victims. And
it's absolutely disgusting. I think that is the low of the lowest to do something like that.
reaction from residents after a disturbing case of voyeurism in Tabor is discovered.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. It's being described as sickening. Police say a camera found in a public washroom at a Tabor convenience store was used to capture dozens of videos and hundreds of pictures of people using the washroom. Terry Vogt has the latest.
The camera was found in a public washroom at a Tabor 7-Eleven store. Police say it was turned over to them on February 1st, and what they discovered was disturbing.
There were dozens and dozens of video images, as well as still photographs of different people using the washroom, a place where people are expected to have privacy.
Tuesday, investigators released 2 photographs of a man they're calling a person of interest. They say when they went through the images, his photo came up several times, suggesting he might have some information about the camera. But police admit he may not be a local resident.
That's one of our major concerns, is that this individual could be from anywhere in Canada, or for that matter, North America. You know, we're not sure if we're dealing with someone who's a long-haul trucker, or if we're dealing with someone who's maybe, our next-door neighbor. We don't know.
The images are dated 2007, and other videos and pictures go all the way back to 2001. But police say people don't always change the date settings on their equipment, so they're not sure if the dates are accurate. What they do know is the case has sparked widespread public interest.
We've received several tips so far, right away after it was made public.
Some residents here in Tabor have expressed concerns for their safety. Others say it makes them think twice about using public washrooms. Nearly everybody says it's just disturbing.
That's not appropriate at all.
Kind of creepy.
Very, very creepy, yeah. The person that's doing that is sick.
If they catch him, I think they need to put him in jail.
It's absolutely disgusting. I think that is the low of the lowest to do something like that.
The 7-Eleven store wasn't the only place the camera was used. Tabor police say the images suggest it had been placed in dozens of other locations, although they're not sure if those were in Tabor or other communities. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Tabor.
Late this afternoon, 7-Eleven issued a statement calling it an unfortunate and unexpected event. They say 7-Eleven Canada takes the safety and security of its employees and customers very seriously. And they also say that to their knowledge, this has never happened at a 7-Eleven store in Canada before. If you have any information, again, you're urged to please contact police or Crime Stoppers. A 19-year-old girl has died after her car collided with 2 horses that were in the middle of the road on Highway 550 near Dutchess. It happened around 9:45 last night. Brooks RCMP and EMS responded quickly. Mounties say that it was dark. The weather conditions were clear and the roadway was dry. The young woman died at the scene. The investigation is ongoing. No name will be released. An American truck driver has been charged after a collision killed a southern Alberta man back in early March. It happened at this intersection, Highway 23 and 519 near Nobleford. There was heavy fog that reduced visibility at the time when the northbound van collided with a semi-tractor trailer unit that police now saying was making an illegal U-turn. The 57-year-old driver of the van from Champion died from his injuries in hospital. 48-year-old Thomas Sissenbach of Minnesota has now been charged with dangerous driving and making an illegal U-turn. He'll make his next court appearance May 15th in Lethbridge. Dory Rossiter liking the weather right now, but it won't be here for long.
No, it won't. We're on another roller coaster again. We're looking at a couple of nice days. Average temperatures that we're heading into, average now is like 14 degrees, so we're going to be approaching that for the next couple of days. And then we've got another system. It's on track to hit southern Alberta this weekend again, starting as showers, turning into snow on Sunday. Deja vu, that word just kind of pops into mind. I'll tell you more details in a couple of minutes.
It's been a chaotic and confusing day in Boston as investigators make significant progress in finding whoever bombed the marathon on Sunday. The FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston both say no arrests have been made in the marathon bombing, despite earlier reports to the contrary. A news conference that was scheduled for 5 o'clock Eastern has been delayed by several hours. A southern Alberta couple are returning from Boston tonight after being in the vicinity of the two bombs that rocked the marathon on Monday. Alan Robinson of Coleman finished across the finish line just 8 minutes before the first explosion. His son Ryan lives in Lethbridge and says he had been tracking his dad's progress, then heard about the blast through social media.
I started looking at the photos, immediately phoned and texted my parents, couldn't get a hold of them, so I was freaking out at that point. And that went on for about 45 minutes. There was a lot of uncertainty.
Robinson says his parents told him they thought that a transformer had blown and didn't even understand the magnitude of what had happened until they returned to their hotel room and started finally watching the news. Now, the owner of Runner's Soul says athletes will keep running in spite of Monday's bombings at the most storied marathon in the world. The Runner's Soul Marathon Club will hold their regular weekly run tonight as planned, but they're asking all participants to wear a racing bib from any of their past races to show support for those who were killed or wounded in the attacks near the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
Just to show our support for all of the people in Boston that were affected, and to let whoever did this know that we're not going to stop running or stop participating in events because of what they've done.
Anyone interested in joining the run can contact Runner's Soul store directly. Well, the bombings have inspired millions of people to want to help the victims, and that has some scam artists trying to make an easy buck. The Better Business Bureau is warning that criminals are already taking advantage of the tragedy in Boston. At least 100 sites have popped up online seeking donations. Many are scams, and the BBB warns liking something on Facebook probably won't help the victims, and it is likely a way for scamsters to get your information.
We suggest that people go to a registered charity, so make sure that, if there's a charity that you've used in the past and you're quite comfortable with them, chances are, if you contact them and say, have they got a fund set up for Boston Marathon, they'll let you know. So go with what you know.
The BBB says similar scams surfaced in the days after the Newtown massacre. The Better Business Bureau offers tips for safe giving on its website. You can check the Government of Canada website to see if a charity is registered. 2 people have been sentenced to jail time for passing fake American money to businesses across southern Alberta and into BC. Gregory Dempsey from Calgary and Terry LaRoe from Lethbridge were sentenced to 15 months for passing counterfeit money. Now, Dempsey and LaRoe also get time and a half credit for time already served in custody. That works out to 197 days credit. Late last year, Lethbridge Regional Police began investigating a number of reports of counterfeit U.S. cash. They uncovered $16,000 had been passed at 18 different businesses in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Crow's Nest Pass, and Strathmore. Economic Development Lethbridge is hoping to help new businesses flourish and established ones grow in Lethbridge. Today, the organization announced plans for the South 50 Business Development Luncheon. The 2-day event is aimed at providing tools and information for business success. Economic Development CEO Cheryl Dick says the luncheon is aimed at motivating companies to achieve greater success.
You always want to know what's the latest bit of information. How do I look at it from where my business is at in its particular form of evolution? So whether you come to the luncheon or whether you come to the full-day conference or both, the whole purpose is to help you get that vision of where do you need to go, where is the current challenge or opportunity, and how am I going to find what I need in order to be able to really move this ahead as quickly as possible.
For more information, you can visit their website at south50accelerate.com. A longtime LCI teacher and past student received recognition for her achievements this morning. Burton was greeted by fellow staff members, distinguished guests, and students at LCI today as part of their We Day celebrations. The LCI Distinguished Achievement Award is given to past students in recognition of the accomplishments and to people who've made a difference in their community. Britton says she was more than happy to be the recipient of such a great honor.
I'm overwhelmed. It was such a pleasure to be just a part of the school, and then to be honored in this way is very humbling, because there's a great many people who have done great things and have come from LCI. So it's certainly a great honor.
And the Canadian music industry is mourning the death of one of our most iconic singers. Rita McNeil died last night in hospital following complications after surgery. Despite declining health, McNeil continued to tour and record. She endured a childhood marked by abuse, moved to Toronto as a teen to pursue music, and there would be welfare, menial work, and plenty of setbacks before her stardom came in her 40s. She'd sell millions of albums, host her own show, and receive the Order of Canada. The Cape Breton songstress was 68 years old. Dory's going to be back with weather in just a moment. First, a look at today's markets.